All right, welcome to Wrestling Uncensored. I am Dave Simon. Johnny North is here with me. RingsideReport.net is our website. It is WrestleMania weekend, WrestleMania 36, going down this weekend, 2 nights, Saturday and Sunday. For the first time ever, WrestleMania is supersized. They're saying it's too big for just one night. WrestleMania going on without a crowd for the first time. Everybody stuck at home. Everybody in isolation. And, of course, same for our WrestleMania party. We're going to be partying together but separate this weekend for our WrestleMania watch-alongs. If you want to hear our live reaction from WrestleMania, be it night 1 or night 2, we will be on. I will be here from the Ringside Report Wrestling Uncensored main studio. My man Johnny North will be with us as well. Fred Garcia from Ringside Report will be joining us. AJ DeLesio will be joining us. And I can announce as well that wrestling icon, your hardcore hero, the Green Phantom, will also be joining us on the show. I think my brother will be making an appearance on at least one of the nights. It's going to be a big-time party. Pro wrestlers Johnny North and the Green Phantom joining us. AJ DeLesio, Jiu-Jitsu World Champion, Freddie Garcia, super guy, awesome dude. It's going to be a great time, and we're going to be watching WrestleMania with you. So if you want our live reactions from Mania, I know some of you may be listening to this. Depending on when you're listening to this, it may be on night 1 of Mania. It may be in between night 1 and night 2. It may be after WrestleMania altogether. Of course, we're on the radio on different markets across Canada. We're also online at ringsidereport.net and on iTunes and on YouTube and on Facebook Live. We're everywhere. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, like the video, and when you do subscribe, click that bell so you get notifications every time that we're on, including the big shows that we have this weekend for WrestleMania. It is upon us. Big Johnny North, WrestleMania. We are going to preview each and every match on the card here on the show, and we will also try and get to what's happening in AEW. They have a big tournament for a new championship, the TNT title. New champion will be crowned at some point down the road over the next few weeks in AEW. Cross your fingers as long as the state of Florida continues to allow the WWE and AEW to produce wrestling shows in their state. We know the circumstances. The coronavirus pandemic is upon us. We're trying to look past that. We're trying to just focus on professional wrestling, and that's what we do here on Wrestling Uncensored. Big Johnny North, let's get to WrestleMania. How are you feeling here? Does it feel like WrestleMania weekend to you, or does it feel like something else? You know, you're in isolation. I'm in isolation. We're usually sitting next to each other, having a barbecue, having a party for WrestleMania. None of that is going on this weekend. It's just, you know, me in the studio, you at home, everybody at home watching WrestleMania, joining us. You know, we'll be watching it together, but not in the same room.
Well, this is totally different. I've never expected we have a WrestleMania like this, but here we are. I know you and many others would rather no WrestleMania whatsoever, but too bad we're getting it anyways. I'd rather we get something than nothing at this point.
Did I say I'd rather no WrestleMania? I'd rather we have something than nothing. I like that we're getting wrestling matches. I don't think that this is a bad idea. I think it's strange. But I think at this point, they had to do WrestleMania. They were already planning the matches. They already had most of the card booked when this coronavirus pandemic struck North America. They kind of have to get WrestleMania over with. Past WrestleMania, I don't know. But at this point, I think, yeah, WrestleMania makes sense.
Well, you have to go back on the past episodes on what you said and didn't said, but it doesn't really matter at this point. It's happening. It's going to happen. And I'm glad it's 2 nights because I've always said WrestleMania, this marathon one-day thing, it's way too much. One day, you need to make it 2 days. It's better like this. Maybe even make it like 4 nights.
Whoa. Take it easy, Johnny North. How many watch-alongs are we supposed to do here?
Well, I mean, think about it. You still have TakeOver, right?
Yeah, and the Hall of Fame.
You could easily make WrestleMania 4 nights. Easily.
WrestleMania is kind of a whole week of events. It's more than just WrestleMania, but now it's really just the 2 nights of WrestleMania. That's the event. You know, there's no takeover this time. There's no Hall of Fame. The night after WrestleMania, the Raw, it's not the same. You know, the Mania shows, Saturday and Sunday shows, those are the big shows that you want to look forward to. I hope that you are watching them with us, the watch-alongs. You can join us on the Super Chat if you're watching this show on the Premiere Edition on YouTube. Hope you join us on Saturday and Sunday for WrestleMania. It's going to be a good time. I'm looking forward to the card. I think we have a lot of good matches on this. We've got, let me run down the cards, and this is what is supposed to take place on Saturday and on Sunday, so we're going to give you a little bit of a preview. This is what's reported as far as night 1 and night 2. So night 1, we're supposed to have Becky and Shayna, Braun versus Goldberg for the Universal title, John Cena versus The Fiend in a Firefly Funhouse match, Kevin Owens versus Seth Rollins, New Day versus Usos versus Morrison and Miz in a ladder match for the SmackDown tag titles, Elias versus Corbin, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross versus the Kabuki Warriors, and Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn. So that's supposed to be night 1 of WrestleMania. Night 2, we have Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker versus AJ Styles, Edge versus Randy Orton, Naomi versus Lacey Evans versus Tamina versus Bayley versus Sasha Banks, The Street Profits versus Austin Theory and Angel Garza, Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair, Aleister Black versus Bobby Lashley, and Otis with maybe Mandy in his corner versus Dolph Ziggler, who may have Sonya Deville in his corner. And if you missed SmackDown this week, you missed the big reveal that Sonya has been the one keeping Otis and Mandy apart and pushing Mandy towards Dolph Ziggler for some reason. I'm not really sure why. We'll get to that in a little bit. I want to start with night 1. I want to dive right into WrestleMania. Becky Lynch versus Shayna Baszler. We knew that this match was going to happen. We predicted it, I think, way back in November when Shayna beat Becky and Bayley at Survivor Series in that triple threat match of champions. We expected Becky to get the rematch. It just made sense. Becky beat Shayna's buddy, Ronda Rousey, last year at WrestleMania in the triple threat there with Charlotte Flair that main evented the show. It seemed like Becky had beaten everybody. She's been the Raw champion since Mania last year, holding the belt for a year. Will she continue to hold it past this match here with Shayna? Big Johnny, what are your thoughts here on this one?
Well, it's been a decent build. It's just kind of sad how I think Shayna should have won the Rumble because afterwards it got kind of predictable that she was going to win the Elimination Chamber, and Elimination Chamber wasn't that exciting because of that. And the whole biting her back of her head, neck thing with Shayna, that was kind of, I think, ridiculous. But I guess they want to do something different. It's been kind of awkward and then physical. So that kind of really describes this feud so far. I don't know if it's going to be that good of a match, too. I'm very concerned, actually, for this match.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it'll deliver. I think it'll be all right. I think Shayna's good. I think Becky's good. They haven't had a lot of practice wrestling each other, so I don't know what their chemistry is going to be like. You never know. I expect it to be decent. The build has been odd. I agree with you. I think Shayna winning the Rumble would have made way more sense, and the whole Elimination Chamber thing was kind of pointless. We knew after Shayna came onto Raw and bit Becky's neck that Shayna was going to be Becky's opponent for WrestleMania. We didn't really have to go through all that Elimination Chamber stuff. They had Charlotte win the Rumble. I think Shayna could have easily won the Rumble. Instead, you have Charlotte just show up on NXT to attack Rhea Ripley, and you have that storyline going that way. You didn't need Charlotte to win the Rumble to then challenge Rhea Ripley for the NXT title. It's just strange. I think Shayna winning the Rumble and then challenging Becky would have made way more sense and would have built this match a little bit better. I think that the build for this has been kind of clunky. Definitely not the best build for a match on Raw. You look at the other long-term stories that they've built on Raw with the the Undertaker versus AJ Styles thing, the Edge versus Randy Orton thing, and even the Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins thing. These are long story arcs that have progressed and have made sense pretty much every step of the way. Whereas this Becky Shayna thing, it's like, okay, get to the point already. We've known since November that these two were going to wrestle at Mania, but we had to wait till late February for them to make it official. So I think the build for this has been not the best, but you got to give it to them at least. They are doing a long-term kind of plan. They're not just slapping this match together like the SmackDown Women's Championship match. Just kind of slapped together. You got 5 people in there. Bayley's a champion, and, well, here's some other people, at least with Becky and Shayna, because Becky is protected. She is a top star on Raw. At least with Becky, they kind of pay attention and they make sure that they have a story for her now. I think, they kind of have to because she main evented last year's Mania and because she's such a big star, but it just goes to show, they don't always pay attention, and a lot of these women's matches on this card are just kind of slapped together. The Kabuki Warriors against Alexa and Nikki Cross. Why? Why is Bayley defending against Naomi and Tamina? Why are they in that match? Why is Tamina in that match whatsoever? Sasha, I guess you can understand. Even Lacey Evans. Like, what is the point of that match? A lot of these women's matches don't really have a story, and you could kind of tell who they pay attention to in the WWE as far as Mania matches, who has to have something, who's important. It's Becky and Charlotte, right? And that's what we have here. Becky's got her match with Shayna. Charlotte's got her match with Rhea, and that's how it is. I think Becky wins. Like I said, she's a top star on Raw. You got to have her win in a way where Shayna doesn't look terrible. Shayna's got to lose, but still look good. So Shayna's got to lose, but barely lose here, so she can still be a viable threat going forward for Becky Lynch, where Becky, I think she wins because she's Becky. She's the man. She's the top star on Raw. She's the Hulk Hogan of the current era of Monday Night Raw. It's time for her to keep on going and remain champion. She doesn't lose at WrestleMania.
Well, she has been champion since last year when she beat Ronda for both championships. I think a year-long reign, she's the longest-reigning champion right now in WWE. I think it's time for it to end finally and give it to Shayna, for someone finally new to beat her, because Becky's beaten everybody on Raw so far. You need something new and different on Raw, and I think Shayna's the answer.
But then what? What do you do with Becky? Like, if Shayna wins, what do you do with Becky after that?
Well, Becky can come back and try to fight her way back towards Shayna.
You could maybe do Shayna Asuka.
I think you could definitely do a lot of things with, like, just Shayna, period, on Raw, because they haven't even really done anything with her. So I definitely think you just run with Shayna for now. I would love it if Ronda would show up in some capacity. That'd be amazing.
I think if this were ordinary circumstances for WrestleMania, Ronda would be involved in this match, but because of the travel restrictions, because WrestleMania is being taped in Florida and Ronda lives in California, I just don't think Ronda's going to be involved in any kind of way.
You can always air a video.
Yeah, but, that doesn't help Shayna win the match. A video, unless Becky's distracted by the video of Ronda on her farm, which would be a pretty weak way to end a year-long title reign, distracted by a video. I've got Becky winning. You've got Shayna winning. I like it. We're starting off on opposite sides. How about Braun Strowman versus Bill Goldberg? They announced it on SmackDown that Roman Reigns would not be wrestling Goldberg for the Universal title. It'll be Braun Strowman. They announced it on SmackDown. How? With a storyline, with a big reveal, telling you why Roman Reigns, because he's had leukemia and his immune system is compromised and coronavirus could be super dangerous for him. No, they don't tell you any of that. They just say, yeah, it's going to be Braun Strowman versus Goldberg at WrestleMania. Isn't everybody excited? No explanation, nothing. They're just like, yep, this is the match, guys. This was always the match, right? Right? Huh?
It's very disappointing. Disappointing because, they could have done something, like some sort of promo backstage, really anything, but to just not explain it is very weak. I definitely don't see a title change because it didn't seem like they even bothered putting any effort into carrying that there's going to be a change, except they changed the graphic. Now it's Braun in the graphic now instead. Just weak, and I expect this match not to be much of anything.
No, I expect it to be a big old nothing, under 5 minutes. Goldberg hits a spear or 2, 3, 4, whatever. Maybe tease the jackhammer, no jackhammer. He couldn't lift the Fiend in a jackhammer. Braun Strowman weighs at least 50 to 60 pounds more, at least. There's no way Goldberg's able to lift Braun Strowman in a jackhammer. I hope he attempts it just for, how terrible it'll look. I hope to see Goldberg and his massive ego try and lift Braun Strowman, but he'll definitely fail if he attempts it. I think it'll just be a few spears and then Goldberg walking away, still Universal Champion, which is just such a shame. So terrible that Goldberg is going to get a big, long title run out of this.
To be fair, because this is taped, they could easily just air it where he finally just hits it right, and they could just cut out all the times he screwed up. So I could easily see him hit the jackhammer, actually.
They could put Braun Strowman on wires.
They could if they want, sure. But I think they could, if they practiced and did their best, they could pull this move off, actually.
They should put Braun Strowman on wires and have Goldberg just suplex him across the ring like Lance Archer did to Marco Stunt on Dynamite this week.
That'd be amazing. That's not going to happen, though, and that's not going to happen.
That suplex was crazy, bro.
It was fun, but it made a lot of sense because, look at the size.
Yeah, crazy. We'll get to Dynamite in a bit. All right, so we both have Goldberg winning. Goldberg, still Universal Champion, right? John Cena taking on The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, in a Firefly Funhouse match. John Cena and The Fiend were the go-home segment, the last segment before Mania on SmackDown this week. John Cena cutting a promo, talking about uncertain times and hope for the future and all sorts of stuff, real motivational, classic Cena stuff. And then The Fiend's puppets appear from around the ring, and Cena has to act all scared of puppets. And then The Fiend appears, and then they do the Matt Hardy trick where The Fiend is gone, and then behind John Cena, it's Bray Wyatt in the sweater, and he's like, "Let me in," and then SmackDown ends. It was, I don't know, not great. This whole story between The Fiend and John Cena has been strange. The Fiend is this evil creature, and John Cena ruined him, or John Cena ruined Bray Wyatt when he beat him at WrestleMania, and that's why Bray Wyatt turned into The Fiend. Explain this story to me, John. I don't get it.
It's actually very difficult to explain. Anything with Bray Wyatt is very difficult to explain. They're just telling you this, but I don't buy a lot of it. It's just John Cena, Bray Wyatt, again at WrestleMania. It's a Firefly Funhouse match. So it's probably going to be like how Randy and Bray was in that crazy match that they had a couple of years ago.
Yeah, the House of Horrors.
It's just going to be a gimmick match, a lot of shenanigans with puppets, probably some explosions or something. But I think this is better than having a wrestling match because that match they had at WrestleMania 30 was god-awful.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, and I don't expect this to be much better. I think this is going to be laughably bad. I really hope we're doing the watch-along for this. I know Mania starts at 7, and we're going to start our watch-along at 8, kind of get settled into Mania, let everybody get settled, and then we'll come up on YouTube and Facebook at 8 p.m. Eastern on both nights, and I really hope that this match happens after 8 p.m. because I need to be on YouTube watching this, making fun of it. It is going to be terrible. It's going to be laughably bad. I expect the Fiend Bray Wyatt to beat John Cena, though. Cena, I think, is here to put the Fiend over, right?
I hope so. I think it'd be ridiculous if Bray Wyatt loses after he just lost the Universal Championship match in a squash against Goldberg. He needs a bounce back here.
But what are we saying if John Cena loses to The Fiend? Are we saying that Goldberg is better than John Cena? That doesn't seem right.
I think in WWE, kayfabe, yeah, it makes sense. A lot of sense, actually. When's the last time Cena won a match?
I don't know. He's John Cena. He's the franchise. And he's shining now.
Yeah, he ain't shining that much anymore, in my opinion.
How dare you say that about the champ, John Cena? I think John Cena will lose. It's a Firefly Funhouse match. The match will be terrible. I don't really care. Who won the House of Horrors match?
It was Bray Wyatt.
Yeah. But didn't Randy burn his house down?
That was before. That was I think before WrestleMania even.
Oh, okay. The House of Horrors wasn't at WrestleMania. That was at another pay-per-view. What was the match where Bray Wyatt did the stuff with all the gimmicks on the ring, like the worm images on the ring? That was terrible. Was that with Randy?
That was WrestleMania.
Yeah, with Randy too, right? That was terrible. This is going to be bad. This is going to be really bad. I think The Fiend wins. I don't really care. I guess what we're supposed to understand by this story is that, John Cena beat Bray Wyatt when Bray Wyatt was this unstoppable character. He was getting a big push. And then after Cena beat him again and again. And then the Bray Wyatt character was never really the same. You know, he wasn't this unstoppable force. He wasn't beating everybody. He was kind of a mid-card guy. He went from a main event monster to a mid-card monster. But hey, man, that's what happens when you go up against the superhero of the promotion. You know, you go up, you have your big match, and then you go back down. And if you have a problem with that, go ask King Kong Bundy how it goes. You know, he wrestled Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 2. What was his WrestleMania 3? What was his WrestleMania 4? What was his WrestleMania 5? Doesn't matter, because he was there in wrestling to wrestle Hulk Hogan and be important and scary at WrestleMania 2, and then to lose, and then we move on from King Kong Bundy. No disrespect to Bundy. He's a legit legend. I think he's a Hall of Famer. I don't know. But you understand what I'm saying. Just because you're hot at the time and you're built up really strong doesn't mean you're going to be built up forever. You're a monster. You're there to lose to the superhero. That's what happened to Bray Wyatt, just like it happened to Bundy at WrestleMania 2.
But it's a little bit different, though. Bundy never went on to become WWE champion. After Bray lost to Cena, he did capture the WWE championship, defeating John Cena.
Oh, please. You know it's totally different now as it was back then. Back then, Bundy would have been a 6-time champion. Back then, they would have given the title to everybody. Back then, no one had the title except for Hogan, maybe Savage, and that was it. Okay, somebody got the title from Hogan, and then they were only there to lose the title back to Hogan. Okay, back in those days, no one held the championship. You have tons and tons of guys. Jake the Snake Roberts, Mr. Perfect, King Kong Bundy, so many guys. Andre the Giant was not really a WWE champion ever, WWF champion. So many of these guys were legit top stars. $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. So many guys were up there. Ricky Steamboat, that were never WWE champion. And you know why, because the belt didn't pass around like it does these days. These days, everybody gets made. Everybody gets to be a champion. Miz got to be champion. Dean Ambrose was WWE champion. John Moxley's AEW champion. Bray Wyatt was WWE champion. I mean, so many guys just get the title, and it doesn't really matter. Jinder Mahal was a WWE champion. I mean, come on now. Back in the day, Jinder Mahal would have never even come close to the WWF championship, never come close to even having a match with Hulk Hogan. Maybe one match, and he'd have to pretend to be Iranian or something, It would never have happened. But nowadays, they have a title on Raw. They've got the Universal title, the WWE title, World Heavyweight title, Undisputed title, Intercontinental title, European title, 24/7 title. They got so many titles, they give them to everybody. It doesn't matter anymore. So don't tell me, it's a little bit different because Bray Wyatt went on to become WWE champion. Who cares? Everybody's WWE champion these days.
Well, I just think it's ridiculous to say that was his big fall, was losing John Cena, when later on he beat Cena for the title. I think the story doesn't make any sense, much like much of Bray Wyatt's stuff anyways. But yeah, regardless, who cares?
We're in agreement there. But you know what I mean about Bundy and about back in those days. Different eras.
Completely different, without question.
So many guys get the title these days. It's like, really? Him? Seth Rollins. He takes on Kevin Owens. Can you imagine Seth Rollins as a champion in 1987? Never would have happened, brother.
Intercontinental, I could see that, sure.
Too small even back then. In 87, Seth Rollins would have been way too small to be Intercontinental Champion.
I don't know. Shawn was wrestling around that time. Shawn was always contender.
Shawn was tiny back then, and he was in a tag team, a little cruiserweight tag team. No way. Intercontinental Champions back then? Look at Steamboat and Savage. Those guys were big, man.
Yeah, they were, sure. But eventually, smaller guys won the title. It was going to happen.
All right. Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens should be a fantastic match here. One-on-one. They've been building this one for quite some time on Monday Night Raw. I'm pulling for Kevin Owens. I like Kevin Owens. I think this would be a big win for him at WrestleMania. But, you know, the WWE, they love them some Seth Rollins, and I could see a little curb stomp 1, 2, 3 with Seth winning. I'm not really sure where this one's going to go. I don't really know, but I'm leaning towards Kevin Owens getting the win with a stunner.
Well, I'm pretty biased. I know Kevin, so I want Kevin to win. So I'm going to pick Kevin. But, yeah, I feel the same belief that Seth Rollins might win because they like to push Seth Rollins. But I feel like Kevin Owens doesn't usually win at WrestleMania. Sometimes doesn't even wrestle at WrestleMania. So it'd be nice for him to get a good WrestleMania moment. Seth's got enough of those, so give Kevin one.
Has he ever won at Mania?
Yeah, he beat Jericho.
Oh, yeah. That's it, though, right? He lost last year. He teamed with Sami against Shane and Bryan last year. He lost, right? This is KO Mania, what, 4?
It is, but even the one where he beat Jericho, that's the one where Vince got mad at him or didn't want to talk to him, so you can say that wasn't a good moment.
Yeah, exactly. He walked backstage and Vince was upset with how that match went. What was that, WrestleMania 33?
I think 33 or 32.
He wasn't even at 34, right?
No.
He was at 35 wrestling that tag team match. Yeah.
Actually, no, it was last year. 35 he was not at.
No, 30. Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, 35 he wasn't at. 34 he teamed with Shane to face Bryan in his comeback match. Right, because Bryan at 35 lost to Kofi. That's right.
Correct.
Well, Kevin Owens has this big match here with Seth Rollins. I wish him the best. I think that they're going to give him a good amount of time. This match should deliver. I don't know what's going to happen here, but I'm looking forward to it. How about the ladder match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles? New Day, Usos against Morrison and The Miz, and there are rumors that Miz may not actually be in this match. We don't know. Miz had Miz TV on SmackDown. There's talk that The Miz was sick. He was maybe sent home, might not be appearing on Mania. We'll find out this weekend, but let's say The Miz is in this match. Who do you have winning?
I think Miz and Morrison's probably going to win this match. I think this could be a very good matchup. New Day and the Usos, usually in these kind of matches, it's very, very good. And add Miz and Morrison. I don't think that's a bad ad.
If Miz can't be in this match, who replaces him to team with John Morrison?
Personally, I'd replace him with Shelton Benjamin. I think he's the best one for ladder matches to do the replacement, but maybe they'll get someone from NXT because that seems to be what they usually do.
You know who would be the perfect replacement for The Miz in this match? Joey Mercury. Hello, Eminem.
Yeah, I guess. Just does he live in Florida? Because if he doesn't live in Florida, which I don't think he does, I don't think he's available.
Last I heard from Joey Mercury, he was going absolutely bananas on Twitter. I don't know if you saw all that stuff with Kelly Klein and Ring of Honor. Joey Mercury was going through his own drama. I don't know what the resolution was with all of that, but I know Joey Mercury and John Morrison were one hell of a tag team as Eminem with Melina when they first came into the WWE. And, if Morrison needs a tag team partner, maybe call up Joey Mercury if he's around. That would be cool. That would be very cool. Imagine Eminem versus the Usos versus the New Day. That's a better match even, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Well, you don't really need it, though. I think they have enough great talent that they can still make a great ladder match. It's just cool to see something like this because we don't have another ladder match on the show. And traditionally, ladder matches are pretty good at WrestleMania. I can't think of a bad ladder match at WrestleMania.
Could be dangerous. Hopefully, everybody is safe in this one. I agree with you, though. I don't think Miz and Morrison lose the titles. They just won them. It would be weird to lose them unless Miz isn't on this. And there were rumors that, the Usos were upset because Miz was sick, and that's the reason why Roman Reigns went home. And if Miz is the reason that Roman Reigns went home, I could see Miz getting punished because he's the reason Roman Reigns went home, and a good punishment would be to take the titles off of him.
I say never doubt New Day, because they always seem to like to put the titles right back on New Day. So they might become 8-time tag team champs.
No reason not to. They're the best. Maybe Xavier Woods makes his return here. That'd be nice. Elias versus King Corbin, one-on-one. Gronk, I guess, will be involved. He's the host of WrestleMania, and he was involved in this feud. Mojo Rawley probably will get involved in this match. They've got to add, as you like to say, some salad dressing. Add a little spice to make this more interesting, because Elias versus King Corbin doesn't cut the mustard, brother.
Well, there's big questions if Elias can even make this match, going right from the last SmackDown we just saw. I think Elias is going to show up for this match. I think he's going to lose easily to Corbin. I think it's just the aftermatch shenanigans. Gronk will come out, maybe put a beating on Corbin. But I think Corbin wins this match, though, regardless.
I don't care. Let's just move on. Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross take on the Kabuki Warriors for the Tag Team Championship. I think this is where the Kabukis drop it. I think Asuka and Kairi Sane are both tremendous singles wrestlers, and it's time. Their run has been okay. It's been pretty long, but they really haven't done much as a tag team. I think they're a good tag team, but honestly, this women's tag team title division is just dead. They're not doing anything with it. We've had these titles for, 2 years now? Didn't they debut, or almost 2 years, right? A year and a half, something like that? And it's not been good. Didn't they debut them at last year's Elimination Chamber, 2019?
They did.
Yeah. So it's been just over a year and a bit with these titles, and they just haven't done anything with this division, and I feel like Asuka is completely wasted as a tag team wrestler because there's no point. You see her wrestling singles matches all the time. It's time to see Asuka versus Shayna, Asuka versus Becky, Kyrie versus Shayna. Let's get them in there in the singles division. Give Alexa and Nikki a little run with the tag division. They basically don't wrestle by themselves. No one really needs to see them wrestle by themselves right now. They're a decent tag team. Give them the belts. Why not? And then maybe bring back the Iconics to feud with them if the Iconics ever show up again.
Well, when this originally was happening, I thought Kabuki Warriors would win this match easily. But because we're probably not going to have a big show for a long time, I think for the most part, good guys are going to win on this show. So that's why I think the Kabuki Warriors are going to lose this match. I could easily see them win the tag team titles back if they need to do that. But I think in the end, they just wanted good guys to win. So I think Bliss and Cross are going to win.
Whatever happened to the Iconics? They won the tag team titles last year, Mania. This year, not booked.
Yeah, but did you see their matches? I mean, they weren't exactly that good. So I get why you take them off TV.
Yeah, well, that's why they should have given the tag team titles to Natty and Beth Phoenix last year.
And they didn't. They made a mistake. But maybe they didn't make a mistake because, Beth doesn't wrestle all the time. It's a once-in-a-while kind of thing.
Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn. Speaking of doesn't wrestle all the time, Sami Zayn, the new Intercontinental Champion. He's mostly in the corner of his wrestlers. He was on commentary this week on SmackDown while Daniel Bryan wrestled an excellent match with Shinsuke Nakamura. I loved seeing Daniel Bryan versus Nakamura. You don't need a crowd to enjoy a match like that. That was great stuff there. D-Bry, tremendous wrestler. If Goldberg is going to be the top champion on SmackDown holding on to that Universal title for the next couple of months, Daniel Bryan needs to be the Intercontinental Champion to be the real wrestler, the real top champion on SmackDown, the real top superstar on the blue brand. I think Daniel Bryan Intercontinental Championship makes a lot of sense. I really hope the WWE gave these guys enough time to work and do what they do best, which is wrestle in the ring. These are two of the best in-ring competitors the WWE has. Daniel Bryan is one of the greatest of all time, and he deserves at least 20 to 30 minutes to have a good old-fashioned wrestling match with Sami Zayn, and I really, really hope they give that to us here at WrestleMania. This is the match I'm looking forward to more than anything at WrestleMania. There is not a single match that I'm more interested in as far as my entertainment value and how good of a match I think it could be if given the right time. Daniel Bryan and Sami Zayn. Everybody knows who listens to Wrestling Uncensored. Daniel Bryan is my number one wrestler in the WWE. I think he's the best thing going today. And Sami Zayn is in that group right up there in the elite of the WWE, right up there with Daniel Bryan. He's one of the best going in the WWE. He's a Montreal guy just like me. I love me some Sami Zayn. I love some Daniel Bryan. Those two guys for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. That is exactly what wrestling dreams are made of. When you talk about big matches at Mania, it doesn't get much bigger. For me, a real pro wrestling purist, a hardcore wrestling fan, than the Intercontinental Championship, WrestleMania, Daniel Bryan, Sami Zayn, one-on-one. It is big. It is historic, and I hope the WWE treats it that way.
I would hope so. I think on paper, Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn is one of the best matches they have, arguably in WrestleMania history. However, I just don't think they're going to give them enough time. I think this is going to be a very quick match. I think Daniel Bryan pretty much wins in somewhat of an elaborate squash.
This is today's version of Steamboat Savage.
It should be, but unfortunately, I don't think it will be. I think this is going to be Daniel Bryan Sheamus all over again.
How do they not know, though? You know? How do they not know what they have? Why would they squander this? Like, they're wrestling people. They get it. Vince McMahon gets it. Triple H gets it. They know. Why would they not give this to us? Like, why even book this match if you're not going to do it properly?
Well, they've done this before in the past where they give this match like, oh, it's going to be so good, and then suddenly it's just a dud, unfortunately. And it's going to be very disappointing, I know, but I think in the end people will be happy because Daniel Bryan still wins in the end.
Yeah, well, I'm praying for a classic here between Bryan and Zayn for the Intercontinental title at WrestleMania. We've got Night 2 to talk about, more WrestleMania on the other side. A short pause here for the radio side of things. It is Wrestling Uncensored. We'll tell you about AEW's new tournament coming up for a new championship and also our predictions and preview for Night 2 of WrestleMania. Stay with us. Yeah. Thanks, everybody, for watching. This is our commercial break time. Thanks for watching. If you're watching the premiere version, thank you for everybody checking in. Thank you for hitting that super chat button. Join us tonight. We will be on for WrestleMania Night 1. We will be on for WrestleMania Night 2. We will be on for all of WrestleMania weekend. We are not partying together. We're partying separate. Johnny is in his home. I'm at the studios. We're going to have Green Phantom. We're going to have my brother. We're going to have Fred Garcia. We're going to have AJ DeLessio, the whole Ringside Report team. If you missed Dave and Johnny live, we had the entire Ringside Report team, the big four, the main four. We reviewed Tiger King. We had a great time. AJ was there. Fred was there. Johnny was there. I was there. Dave and Johnny live was a lot of fun, and our WrestleMania watch-alongs will be a lot of fun as well. We know it's tough times right now. We're trying to bring a smile to your face. We're trying to entertain you. We're trying to have some fun. We're trying to have some fun for ourselves as well, because I like to see my friends, and right now I'm not seeing anybody. So it's good to see you right now, Johnny. And, hey, we had a lot of fun doing Dave and Johnny live too, right?
Oh, yeah, without question. New Jack for the Hall of Fame all the way.
Oh, God, John. We're not going into that. If you want to hear us talk about the New Jack Dark Side of the Ring documentary and also Tiger King, you can watch this week's episode of Dave and Johnny Live on the YouTube channel. Like this video. Subscribe. And then click the bell when you subscribe so you get notifications every time that we're on. And now, back to the show. All right, welcome back. It is Wrestling Uncensored. I'm Dave Simon. He is Johnny North. RingsideReport.net is our website. Go there. Watch this week's episode of Dave and Johnny Live. Watch this week's episode of Ringside Report MMA. There's a lot going on in the UFC still. The UFC plans on doing an event April 18th. Is that really going to happen? We talked about it this week, and John Jones also pleads guilty to a DWI. What kind of penalties is John Jones facing? Find out on this week's episode of Ringside Report MMA. It's on our YouTube channel. It's on our website, ringsidereport.net. Be sure to join us this weekend, all weekend, for our WrestleMania watch-alongs. Let's get right back into it. Drew McIntyre from Scotland taking on Brock Lesnar. WWE title on the line. Drew McIntyre won the Royal Rumble. Drew McIntyre has been built up here to be this big challenge for Brock Lesnar. Drew McIntyre was like a mid-card heel before he won the Rumble. Since the Rumble, he's been built as a main event babyface for some reason. It's the F5 versus the Claymore kick. I'm not fully buying this Drew McIntyre push, and I think Brock Lesnar is going to take him to Suplex City and retain the WWE Championship here at WrestleMania. I think a lot of people are expecting Drew McIntyre to win because he won the Rumble, and when you win the Rumble, people expect you to win at WrestleMania. He's been built up. They're trying to make him into a star on Monday Night Raw over the past several months since January, but I don't think they've done enough. I don't think Drew is the guy. I think Brock is still the guy. I think Brock is still that top champion, that respectable champion, that old school champion. Back in the days when you were a wrestling champion, you had to be able to take on all comers. Brock Lesnar is one of those guys. Back in the days when you were a wrestling champion, you had to be able to step into the middle of the ring and say, any man, step into the ring and mess with me and see what happens to you. Brock Lesnar is that type of guy. He could walk into an arena, 30, 40, 50,000 people, and there's not a single guy that could walk into that ring and take that title off of him in a legitimate way. Drew McIntyre, he's big, he's strong, he's not Brock Lesnar. Suplex City, I'm going with Big Brock.
I understand you. I understand Brock Lesnar. He's been a dominant champion. He's a better champion to have than put Drew McIntyre, someone brand new, unproven. But I think they're realizing, Paul Heyman definitely, I think, realizes this. And I think you can tell by Brock, by how he's been putting over Drew, he realizes that you got to put over new guys to build up new talent for the future. Brock's not going to be there forever. Brock had probably the best decade in WWE last decade. But now it's time to move on, and now it's time for Drew McIntyre and let him have a run with this. And I think this is probably going to be the last match for WrestleMania on the second night or first night, however it airs. And I think you want it to end on a happy note. And Drew McIntyre winning, I think people will be happy with that.
Well, what about me? I want to see Brock Lesnar win. What about my happiness?
You're never happy. You complain about everything, so there's no point trying to make you happy.
No, I'm happy that we're seeing Daniel Bryan versus Sami Zayn. I'm happy about that. I'm happy that we're seeing Undertaker versus AJ Styles one-on-one. I told you it was going to happen. I'm happy that Edge is finally back in the WWE, and he's wrestling Randy Orton. All that's been great. I don't know what you're talking about, John.
But see, if Drew McIntyre wins, then you're like, oh, WrestleMania's ruined. This is a bad idea. What are they doing?
Well, WrestleMania is already ruined because there's no fans, you know?
Well, again, you don't want WrestleMania to even happen. But I think it's good to get this going because you don't know how long it's going to last.
I never said I didn't want WrestleMania to happen. I just said I don't know if it's safe and I don't know if it's the right move for it to happen. And obviously, other people don't think WrestleMania should happen. Like Roman Reigns. For him, WrestleMania is not happening. Roman Reigns could have been the Universal Champion. He decided, no, it's not safe for me. I'm staying home. I'm not sure it's the right move. I'm not sure it's the right move by the WWE to go on with the show, but I'm happy that I have a show to watch this weekend.
It's going to be a lot of fun, I think. For 2 nights, this will be fun.
The Undertaker versus AJ Styles. So, Johnny, you've got Drew winning. I've got Brock winning. Taker versus AJ. It's the Boneyard match. I liked Undertaker's promo this week on Monday Night Raw. Cut a good promo on AJ Styles. Called him Alan Jones. Called him by his real name because AJ has called Taker Mark Calloway, which is his real name. Taker says that AJ was a big fish in a little pond for so many years and was scared to come to the WWE, taking a little jab at TNA and AJ staying there and not coming over to the WWE for so long. And he also says that, hey, you keep talking about my wife Michelle and you crossed the line when you did that, and I think you're just mad because my wife Michelle does the Faith Breaker, which is a version of the Styles Clash, and she does it better than you. Rest in peace. And that was a promo. It was pretty good.
Well, I like that he used Jericho's insult, the ass hat thing that he says.
Ass clown.
Oh, we can say it. Okay, cool. I didn't know we could say that. Great. Yeah. Jericho said that. And Jericho was like all cool with it. And Taker's like, oh, yeah, I'm sorry that I guess I learned that from somewhere. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, Taker said that on
Twitter, yeah.
On Twitter. Which, like, why is The Undertaker on Twitter?
Well, AJ had to make fun of him, right? So that's a good reason why. And plus, it's just good for The Undertaker's business. So people can get in contact with him, and then Undertaker can do other things outside of WWE, which he was doing a couple years ago because they weren't using him that much.
Yeah. It's interesting that Undertaker's on Twitter. He doesn't interact with many people, but he did interact with Chris Jericho on Twitter. Le Champion from AEW. Very interesting that Taker is, he didn't have to tweet that out, but he did, and he tweeted out to Chris Jericho.
Well, guys like Undertaker, Randy Orton, and I'm sure even John Cena if he wanted to. The Rock, I think has probably done it. If they want to interact with AEW, I don't think people are really going to say anything back to them.
I think, Undertaker being this version of himself, being a little bit less of the dead man, being more of the American badass, more of the Mark Calloway, is good if he wants to threaten to go work for AEW, because this is a character he can do in AEW. He couldn't go and be the Undertaker anywhere but the WWE, but if the WWE decides to stop using him, or he wants to leverage a deal with some other wrestling company, being the Mark Calloway character, the biker Taker, now is a good setup for if, after this match things go sour with WWE, he could potentially make an exit.
Yeah, but I think he's doing okay in WWE. I mean, he wrestles, 3 times a year, makes millions? I think that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think Taker's doing just fine financially, and I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Like he said, he's got way more matches behind him than he has in front of him. This is a boneyard match. This could be good. This could be bad. I'm not really sure how it's going to go. I think in a ring, a 4-sided ring, or even a 6-sided ring, as AJ Styles has been accustomed to in the past, this match could have been fantastic. But in a boneyard match, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. I expect a shovel, somebody to get hit with a shovel, maybe some dirt, maybe somebody to get thrown into some tombstones, maybe somebody to take a tombstone. I don't expect Taker to hit, or AJ to hit Taker with the Styles Clash, though. I don't think he physically could do that. Taker's too big, right?
Well, there's always tricks in these kind of matches, right? With the camera angles and everything they do. I mean, it can look like he hit it, but didn't actually hit it. It's all about the cool stunts that they can pull off. That's it. It's WWE magic in this case, in this kind of match. How cool is their magic tricks?
Well, they have it recorded. None of it's live. They seem to have had some time to kind of put it together. So hopefully it's good, man. I don't know. I don't know what to expect. We've never seen a boneyard match before. How do you even win a boneyard match?
I'm going to guess it's something like a buried alive kind of thing. You got to throw them into something. Because, is there a ref for this even? I have no idea. I imagine the club's going to get involved. So hopefully Taker has backup. I'd really like to see Michelle get involved. Even though, it's kind of weird if she's there. But I think she follows Taker everywhere, no?
I don't know. I don't know if Michelle's going to be there. They live in Texas. WrestleMania's in Florida. They have kids. I don't know if Michelle's going to be traveling with Taker to go to Mania to do that. I don't know. Maybe Kane will show up, but he's the mayor of a city in Tennessee. I don't know if it would be smart for him to go traveling for WrestleMania. But when his big brother Undertaker calls, I mean, what's he going to do, right? So, I don't know. Taker, I think we both expect him to win this Boneyard match, though, right?
Yeah, I think so. But I don't think this is the end of AJ versus Undertaker. I think this continues. I think they'll eventually have a regular match.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I thought it was going to be one and done. I know we had this conversation a couple weeks ago before we knew it was a Boneyard match, but I kind of wanted to see them wrestle in a ring, you know? Hopefully we get to see them wrestle in a ring. I'm a little bit disappointed that it's a Boneyard match, and I still don't really know what that means. John Cena, did you see on his promo on SmackDown? He's like, what's a Firefly Funhouse match? Nobody's even told me. I don't even know the rules to this thing.
And yet he's still very confident that he's going to squash Bray Wyatt. Typical Cena.
Yeah, well, that's John Cena. So Taker wins. How about Edge and Randy Orton? Last man standing. This could be the best match of both nights of WrestleMania. It's got the potential. Edge's return match, 9 years, retired, came back at the Rumble, but this is his first real match. This story between Edge and Randy has been going on since January on Raw. It's been great. Great stuff, great promos from both guys, some of the best work of their careers. And it's a new resurgence here for Edge, who signed a 3-year deal with the WWE. He's back wrestling on a regular basis, and I think he wins. I think he gets revenge over Randy Orton here at Mania.
Well, let's think about this. It's a last man standing match, so pretty much that's going to make it an empty arena match. And I think a lot of people remember The Rock and Mankind had an amazing empty arena match. Edge loves to outdo what's already been done, and he's already had amazing WrestleMania moments. So I can only imagine what he wants to do for this and try to make this his best WrestleMania moment. I think this is easily going to be match of the night, and it could go down as one of the best WrestleMania matches we ever see.
I hope so. I hope you're right. I think it's going to be one of the best matches of WrestleMania. I don't know what they can do here. I'm a little bit worried. You know, Edge has been hurt and retired for so long. I don't want Edge to do all the crazy stuff he used to do. You know, this guy had to spend nearly a decade away from pro wrestling. I worry about Edge. You know, I really do. I worry about his health and safety. But if the doctors say he's okay, well, good. I don't know what they're going to do here. I feel like with a crowd, this match would have been a lot crazier than what we're going to see at Mania. I think the adrenaline would have made Edge and Randy go the extra mile. I think they're definitely both going to go 100%. Well, Edge will go 100%. Randy might muster a good 80%. But they're going to try. They're both going to try. And, hopefully they come through with a great match. You never know, man. You never know. These types of situations. No crowd, empty arena match, Randy Orton. Edge hasn't wrestled in a long time. It could be great, but it also could turn out a little bad. So they do have the benefit that it's not live, so any kind of weird spots they could edit out of the broadcast.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they've already edited WrestleMania to make sure there's no terrible spots in it already, so I'm not too worried about that. And I agree with you. I think Edge is going to win this match.
Let's go to the SmackDown Championship match. It is Bayley defending against Sasha Banks, Tamina, Lacey Evans, and Naomi. Again, this match is just kind of slapped together. I see no reason for Bayley to lose in this instance. She's been a good champion. I don't think any of these other people really make sense being champion unless they want to do some sort of angle with Bayley and Sasha where Sasha wins it from Bayley and they feud going forward. Unless you give it to Sasha, I don't see any reason why you take it off Bayley.
Well, it's interesting because on SmackDown, they announced that this is an elimination match. So I think it might come down to Bayley versus Sasha in the end. And if that's the case, yeah, I could definitely see Sasha win the match.
Maybe. Or maybe Bayley wins and it just starts a rift between them. I don't know. This match has not been built very well. It doesn't mean very much. That's why I think no title change. There's just no point. Another one that's just kind of slapped together. Street Profits taking on Angel Garza and Austin Theory. The Street Profits are the Raw Tag Team champions. Austin Theory, 22 years of age, made his pro wrestling debut in May 2016. Not even 4 years into his pro wrestling career, just 22, he's making his WrestleMania debut and Raw debuts both in the same week. Pretty impressive young athlete is Austin Theory, teaming with Angel Garza. Garza was supposed to team with Andrade in this match, but Andrade is injured, so he cannot wrestle. I think Street Profits retain. Hopefully Montez Ford is okay after that dive he took on Raw this week where he totally just planted himself back first on the almost on the stage there outside of the ring. That was nasty. But I think the Street Profits retain here. There's no reason to change the titles around.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think Street Profits retain. I think this is just a good sign of you see new blood in WrestleMania. Like, there's a lot of part-timers that just come back for this one shot and that's it. It's nice to see that you're building the future here with brand new talent, their first time at WrestleMania, and it's a title match. I think this is great.
Rhea Ripley, first time at WrestleMania, also a title match. Brand new talent right here against Charlotte Flair, and I think she's going to win because I don't think it makes any kind of sense for Charlotte to go to NXT and be the NXT champion. I think Charlotte is a main roster, main brand, Raw or SmackDown type performer right now. I don't see her going back to NXT. She's also engaged to Andrade, and usually when they move Charlotte to a brand, they move Andrade. And because Zelina Vega is Charlotte's or is Andrade's manager, they move Zelina there too. And because Aleister Black is married to Zelina Vega, they move Aleister Black. So you move Charlotte, you have to move Andrade, Zelina, and Aleister Black too, which is why I said just make them a faction. That way when you move them around all together, it makes more sense. But they haven't done that. They haven't made a group of them. So I think it's just too much movement if you move Charlotte to NXT, because then it just creates the domino effect there with Andrade. So I think Rhea Ripley retains. It's a big win for her. Charlotte beating Rhea and winning the NXT title, it's kind of like a step back in her career. Rhea beating Charlotte and then staying in NXT, you just continue to build Rhea as this great superstar. She took the title away from Shayna. She beat Charlotte at Mania. When she does finally come up to Raw or SmackDown, she'll be even bigger, even more anticipated, and Charlotte could get the win back in a year or whatever down the road. It doesn't matter. I think Charlotte doing the favors here for Rhea makes a lot of sense.
I'm not going to disagree with you on that, but in terms of who I think is going to win, I think it's going to be Charlotte because they love to push Charlotte. Why did they give her the win for the Rumble when they could have easily gave it to Shayna? Because it's Charlotte. It seems to always be the answer. So I think Charlotte's still going to win this. It makes more headaches to not have her win, but they'll still make her win anyways because it's Charlotte.
I think they gave Charlotte the Rumble win because they knew that they wanted her to lose to Rhea at Mania, and they didn't want to have Charlotte not win anything in the build-up to that and then lose again because then Rhea's not really beaten anyone. So Charlotte winning the Rumble is like, okay, Charlotte, we gave you something, and now you're going to lose to Rhea at Mania.
I hope you're right, but I still think Charlotte's going to win.
Aleister Black taking on Bobby Lashley in a match no one asked for.
Well, it's just two guys that needed a match for WrestleMania, so just put them together. But it's fine. They're good wrestlers.
I guess Bobby Lashley picked a fight with Aleister. I think Aleister's going to win. I think Aleister's very good, very talented. The promos, the character, needs a little work, but in the ring, he's a hard hitter. He's fun to watch. I'm a big fan of his work there inside that ring. I think he beats Lashley, and then he goes on to be the next challenger for Brock Lesnar in the WWE Championship. I think this is kind of a B version of the Drew and Brock match. I think Aleister beats Bobby. I think Drew beats or loses to Brock, and then we have Brock versus Aleister going forward for the WWE title. I think Aleister Black will be Brock's next challenger and may beat him.
Well, it won't be right away, that's for sure, though. But yeah, one day, someday, Aleister Black, Brock Lesnar. Yeah, I think it might happen. But I don't think it'll be for the WWE title because Drew will win, but whatever.
Okay, we both like Aleister to beat Bobby. Otis versus Dolph Ziggler. there was some sort of hacker that revealed that Sonya Deville had told Otis that Mandy couldn't make it and hatched this plan with Dolph Ziggler so that Otis would not show up to the date with Mandy on Valentine's Day, and Sonya has been the one keeping Otis away from Mandy, and Mandy found out on SmackDown this week. Dolph and Sonya had this whole plan to get Mandy to fall in love with Dolph, and it seemed to have worked, and to have Mandy avoid falling in love with Otis. Why does Sonya care so much about who Mandy winds up with? Why does she care that she winds up with Dolph instead of Otis? I don't understand the motivation at all for Sonya Deville in this weirdo storyline. And who's the hacker? Like, who is the hacker that's revealing this information? And why does he care so much about Otis and Dolph Ziggler and the Mandy Rose love triangle? What was that?
Well, that's why you need to watch the next episode of Days of Our Lives. I mean, WrestleMania. And then you'll find out everything.
We're going to find out who the hacker was?
I'm thinking there's going to be some big reveal, no? At the end of the match?
I don't know, man. That was super weird. And we've been seeing like little like things on the screen on SmackDown when Dolph Ziggler was there, right? We've seen like little blips that have been kind of teasing this hacker, and it looked a lot like, you know, Save Us 222 type thing, Chris Jericho, like old school comeback, and I was like, what is that, Le Champion? He can't be coming back. That doesn't make any kind of sense. And then it's revealed to be this hacker, and there was something about the truth will be revealed, the truth will set you free, something about the truth, and I was like, R-Truth? He can't hack. There's no way R-Truth knows how to hack. He barely knows what show he's on, right? But then I was like, okay, well, maybe somebody associated with Truth. Carmella? Could it be Carmella? Does she care for some reason? Is it Carmella behind all of this? Because we haven't seen her in a while. I have no idea what this is. It was bizarre. It was super weird, and I can't believe they waited until the last SmackDown before WrestleMania to reveal this hacker, Sonya, Dolph, Otis, Mandy story thing. What?
Well, do you care now about Otis against Dolph Ziggler?
No.
Well, that didn't work then. But I guess this was to make people care about Otis versus Dolph Ziggler and to put some sort of finale to this feud because it was kind of stuck somewhere and they needed an ending, so they kind of got right to the ending by using this hacker thing.
Where's Tucky in all this?
Well, he got beat up by Ziggler on the show.
Yeah. Tucky! Where's Robert Roode in all this?
He was on the phone with Ziggler. I guess he's stuck somewhere.
Maybe he's the hacker.
That's too clever.
Yeah, Robert's stuck in Canada. Robert's in Canada.
It makes sense.
Yeah, he's not leaving Canada anytime soon. I've heard that he's in his hometown of Peterborough.
Well, there you go.
There you go. He's probably listening to this show right now. Shout out to you, Robert Roode. Beer money for life. I'm with you forever. Team Canada, back in the days when you had that sweet Jerry curl. Sweet.
He was a champ back then, too.
Man, he had some really nice curly hair. He had some sweet robes. Team Canada, Robert Roode. Where's Hotshot Johnny Devine? He was good, too.
Demons.
Oh, he had demons? I didn't know he had demons. Aw. I'm sorry to hear that. Where's Eric Young? He's still in WWE, right?
Yeah, I think he wrestles on Main Event every so often.
All right. So that's WrestleMania. That's our WrestleMania 36 preview. We are running short on time. I did want to talk about AEW. They have a big tournament coming up. It will be for the AEW TNT Championship. They are debuting a new title, a mid-card title, something we've been waiting for a while. The tournament is going to start next week. Cody will be taking on Shawn Spears. Darby Allin takes on Sammy Guevara. The winner of those two matches will face each other in the semifinals. In the other bracket, it'll be Dustin Rhodes versus Kip Sabian and Lance Archer versus Colt Boom Boom Cabana. I was really impressed by Lance Archer's Dynamite debut this week in a killer match with Marco Stunt. Match of the week, though, I think has to go to Kenny Omega versus Trent. Kenny getting the win via pinfall after the one-winged angel. Incredible matchup. Once again, the best bout machine, Kenny Omega, just shines on television. This guy is the best.
Well, I think, again, AEW had the best show for Empty Arena because they used the wrestlers as the crowd, and it added an atmosphere. Albeit there wasn't a lot of sound, but still it made a difference where, unlike WWE, it sounds like you hear the crickets more than anything else. It just helped that there's a bit of energy. It made the show seem like there's some life to it. And plus the commentating is just a lot better. Though Cody wasn't that good this week, I don't know why Cody needs to talk like he knows everything on the internet for whatever reason. But Colt Cabana was very good on commentary.
Yeah, I need more Colt Cabana on AEW Dynamite. Just more. When he's not wrestling, he should be on commentary. When he's not on commentary, he should be wrestling. I want to see him every episode of Dynamite all the time. Colt is the best. I love Colt Cabana. You want to talk about Cody? Tony Schiavone couldn't tell who Darby Allin or Sammy Guevara was. He kept calling Darby Allin Sammy Guevara. He had no idea. And then at the end of the show, he's like, Cody is going to face Darby Allin one-on-one in the TNT title tournament. Except, I think that's a spoiler because that's not supposed to happen. Even though Tony Schiavone said it was going to happen, Cody is going to wrestle Shawn Spears, and then Darby Allin is going to wrestle Sammy Guevara. Cody and Darby seem to have some friction there in their tag team match that they wound up losing to Spears and Guevara in the main event of Dynamite this week. I think it'll be Cody versus Darby in the semifinals. I've got Darby getting the win back finally over Cody somehow, maybe with Lance Archer costing Cody the win somehow, something like that maybe. And on the other side of the bracket, I've got Dustin Rhodes over Kip Sabian, Lance Archer over Colt Cabana, and then Lance Archer over Dustin Rhodes. I've got Archer versus Darby in the finals. And I think Archer maybe costs Cody his match with Darby, and then Cody repays the favor the following week and costs Archer his match with Darby, thus making Darby Allin your first ever AEW TNT champion. I think he's a great mid-card type champion. He's over. He's an AEW homegrown star. This guy is money. He's going to be a big star in the future of the wrestling business. Putting this title on Darby Allin as your first champion, I think makes a lot of sense. That's who I'd go with. He's my pick to be the first ever AEW TNT champ. What do you think, Johnny?
Almost the same as you, just I think Cody's going to beat Darby, and I think Lance Archer is going to win the whole tournament, beating Cody in the finals. So I think Lance Archer is going to be the first TNT champion. A big guy as champion, I think that's a good thing.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea. Jon Moxley is the AEW heavyweight champion, and he will be defending in his first title defense against Jake Hager on April 15th on that edition of AEW Dynamite, and that was announced this week. Also this week on Dynamite, Hikaru Shida getting the win over Anna Jay. Very impressed by Anna Jay. A lot of people were impressed by Anna Jay in that match. I think we'll see more of her in the future. Dustin Rhodes and QT Marshall got a win over 8 and 9 of the Dark Order. The Dark Order guys now just going under numbers, 8 and 9. And they lost. And then Brody Lee, the Exalted One, showed up after the match and beat them up for losing. Well, beat up one of them and just scared the other one. Nice boardroom promo cut from Brody Lee. I like Jericho's promo from the hot tub this week. That was really good. And then Vanguard 1 showing up. I enjoyed that. The Young Bucks video promo from the ring there in the parking lot area. I thought that was solid stuff. I liked all the promos, all the stuff on Dynamite this week. Again, AEW Dynamite, the most enjoyable wrestling show of the week. The best match of the week is on Dynamite, like it is pretty much every week in pro wrestling. Kenny Omega is usually part of that best match of the week because he's the best bout machine. And for me, I don't know about you, but I think he's the greatest wrestler walking planet Earth. today. And I think we're very lucky to get to see him wrestle on a weekly basis on TV. It's pretty cool that we get so much Kenny Omega. Kenny versus Trent, just throwaway episode of Dynamite. It's just, wow, beautiful stuff. I love it. Love Kenny Omega. Love AEW. And I feel like every single week, it just keeps building and building and building. The momentum just keeps going. And the show gets better and better. You know, they're planning long-term stories. And when you do that over time, you get these payoffs, and I feel like things just keep paying off each and every week. It's just a great show every time you watch it, every Wednesday night.
Well, they're definitely making the best of a bad situation, more so than WWE. WWE should really steal a lot of their style. They kind of did with the way they switched the camera angles a bit. But even with the wrestlers in the crowd, it just helps so much just doing a little thing like that. And I feel like they can pull that off because you see a lot of people just around ringside sometimes, especially when they have the women and like that big multi-women match. And you can't tell me, like in some of the other matches, you can't have people around ringside just making some noise. WWE can pull that off. Plus, we don't get NXT apparently in Canada for whatever reason. They don't show it on the network. So we only have AEW to watch.
No problem. I don't mind that. That's fine with me. I think all you really need is the New Day in the crowd. Just put the New Day there the whole time during WrestleMania. I guess when they're not wrestling, they'll make enough noise.
They'd be good. Everrise wrestle a main event. One of them is very loud, so I put them in the crowd as well.
Who?
The guys from Montreal 2.0.
Oh, okay. What are they called?
Everrise.
They wrestle on main event now? I thought they were in NXT.
Yeah, but now everyone wrestles on any show now, so it doesn't really matter. They
Cool.
are NXT, but they were on main event.
Put them in the crowd. Tyler Breeze, Fandango, get Big E there. They'll make some noise. That's what I want to see. All right, Big Johnny, we are running short on time. We are overtime here, a jam-packed edition. It's too big for one show, just like WrestleMania, too big for one night. This episode of Wrestling Uncensored, our WrestleMania preview, was too big for 1 hour. Big Johnny North, when is your next wrestling match? When can people see you in the ring?
Well, let's hope it happens sometime this year. That'd be nice. Wait and see, I guess.
Cool. Follow him on Twitter at North Genesis. Follow him on Instagram at Genesis Johnny North. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Dave Simon MMA. RingsideReport.net is our website. Check out our WrestleMania watch-alongs, Night 1 and Night 2. I will be here. Johnny will be here. Freddie will be here. AJ will be here. Green Phantom will be here. My brother will be here. Special guests, you will be here. We'll be talking to you. We'll be live. We'll be answering your questions. Watching WrestleMania Sunday, Saturday, Night 1, Night 2, all weekend. WrestleMania 36, our watch-alongs. Check us out. Go to our YouTube channel. Subscribe to the channel. Like the video. Go to RingsideReport.net. If you're looking for the video, our videos for Night 1 and Night 2 will be right there on the front page. Very easy. 8 p.m. Eastern. That's when we'll be jumping on live. Both nights. Check us out for WrestleMania. Watch it with you. We're separate, but we're together watching WrestleMania, our big WrestleMania party. For Johnny North, I am Dave Simon. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Thanks to everybody helping us out on the radio side as well. This has been Wrestling Uncensored. Enjoy WrestleMania. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.